Prendete una bambina dai capelli rossi e una collezione di dischi del papà che hanno segnato la sua infanzia. Prendete poi una lista di grandi donne del jazz e del blues degli anni 40 e 50, ormai pressoché dimenticate, una voce vellutata e una band di New Orleans. Mescolate bene il tutto e il risultato sarà Come On and Get It, il nuovo brillante, seducente e gioioso album di Judith Owen. Abbiamo incontrato la cantautrice dall'animo jazz nella sua casa di Londra per farci raccontare quando e come è nato questo progetto.
It is my happy place, and during COVID I was so completely depressed, as everyone was depressed, and wondering if I'd ever play, would I ever sing again, would I ever tour. And I live in New Orleans and a little bit in London, where we are right here today, and in California a little bit as well, but mostly New Orleans. And I was very lucky to be there during COVID. The pandemic didn't stop the music. It didn't stop it. It just went outside. We were all so sad, and I felt so sad, and I thought this is the time to make an album about joy and about the women who I grew up, Nellie Lutcher, Julia Lee, Pearl Bailey, Mary Lou Williams, Dinah Washington. All these women were about joy, fun, humor. They were unapologetically strong, powerful. They were singing about sex. They were singing about female sexuality at a time when nice girls were meant to sing about romance. And I couldn't think of anything better to come out of COVID with. I couldn't think of a better way to lift my spirit.
You are the cutest one. It's so heavenly. What a break for me.
I grew up in a house full of music, mostly classical music, because my father was a opera singer at Royal Opera House, Covent Garden. He sang in La Scala, and I sang all over the world. And it was an incredible childhood, and I spent so much of my young years backstage at Covent Garden. He loved all music, and particularly he loved jazz and blues. He had this collection of 45s, little singles, that he'd collected when he was a boy. That's where these women were. That's where they lived. When he first played Nellie Lutcher, Fine Brown Frame, that was the song that started it all. Me, little girl, like 5-year-old, short, red hair, freckles, loved music. I always knew I was going to be a musician, always. And I loved the piano. I wanted to be that. So these women were really important to little me. When I heard that song, Fine Brown Frame, as a little girl, I thought Nellie Lutcher was a star. I thought she was a big star in America, because in London, when she played in big theatres, the Prince of Wales Theatre in the West End, she was mobbed by her fans. That's how much she was loved in Britain and France and all over Europe. You know, she was a star. But in the 40s and 50s, this was the 50s when she came to Britain. But of course, in America, there was segregation. The racism that was the structure of American life meant that black music was not heard by white people. It was made for a black audience, for black radio. And it's crazy to think about now, of course, but that's really how it was. And white people didn't hear this music, not really. And so I found it extraordinarily painful and sad when I first went to be in America. Went back to the place that I first heard, went back to New Orleans, went back to the birthplace of jazz, and found out that very few people knew who she was. I mean, no one. And that's, to me, that's a crime. And when I went to live in LA first, I got to see Nelly Lutcher perform at the end of her life. I didn't think it could be her because I couldn't believe she was still alive. It was after 50 years. It said 50 years of retirement. Nelly Lutcher takes to the stage for one night only. She came on the stage and she started to play, started to sing, and it was like could have been 20 years old. She sounded perfect, played like a young woman. She was funny, she was sexy, she was incredible.
Something like her 'cause she's happy.
14 tracce registrate a New Orleans, suonate insieme ad una band straordinaria e prodotte da John Fishbach, per omaggiare donne forti e coraggiose che in un settore dominato dagli uomini, ieri come oggi, hanno saputo affermare se stesse e gridare al mondo chi erano e chi volevano essere.
Where do I start? I have always thought of myself as being very fortunate because I had a male role model in my father who I looked to and who told me and my sister to lead with our talent and our intelligence first. Not forgetting that it's always good if you look nice. I mean, that's the thing, if you look good, that's a plus. But the most important thing was talent and this and that. And so I had a very different feeling about being in this business. It is not an equal playing field. It never was. It still isn't, period, as they say in America. The end. However, more and more women making it their personal job to actually lead with their strengths. Every woman knows what I'm talking about. There is always the desire to be a pleaser, to be taking care of other people, to look after, to be the good child, to care. There is a tendency that you will put other people's feelings or other people before you. I mean, that's just the nature of how it is, I'm afraid. And then if you're not that kind of woman and that you're a very sort of like A personality, if you're an alpha woman, then you just get called, a horrendous bitch, basically. You just, you get treated that way. So I love these women, I love this music because they're basically saying what we all need to say as women, which is, this is who I am. If you like it, great. If you like me, that's great. And if you don't, okay. But this is who I am. That's the word, confidence. Confidence comes from acceptance of who you are. In this world of social media where everything is about envy, what this music taught me, what these women taught me, was that self-acceptance and being a bit stronger, bigger, louder, it's okay.
Better snatch and grab it before it gets away.
I'm glad you said that you can hear the jazz. Yeah, there's always jazz in my music. In my heart, I'm half jazz, half classical. That's where I lie, that you can hear the place that I grew up in. You can hear it. But on this project, I needed it to be pure, unadulterated fun and joy. I think there's a big difference between hearing jazz in New Orleans and jazz anywhere else in the world, seriously. And I think the serious difference is that if you close your eyes and listen to New Orleans players, they're smiling inside. I mean, I know that sounds corny, but it's the truth. You can hear their joy, their pleasure, how much fun they're having. Preservation Hall is like the temple to traditional jazz. The first two videos we filmed, Blossoms Blues and Fine Brown Frame, in Preservation Hall, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing in this world like it because the patina, the color of the walls, the faces looking down from the paintings of the people who've played there, it's really, really deep. That is pure Hollywood, burlesque, dress, band. It's ridiculous fun. Because in New Orleans, people do that every week of their lives. It's a city that is based on celebration. You understand this in Italy because that's so much a part of what life is about. Long meals, socializing, talking, extended evenings with a lot of people who are talking at the same time. It's really, that's the basis of New Orleans. It's about the social experience.
So grab it in the morning, grab rabbit in the night.
Come On and Get It è un disco che tira completamente fuori per la prima volta l'animo jazz di Judith Owen. Non un vero e proprio cambio di rotta per l'artista, ma piuttosto il desiderio di guardare sempre oltre, di migliorare e di non perdere mai il coraggio di esprimere se stessa e la sua arte, proprio come le incredibili donne di quest'album, che sin da quando era una bambina dai capelli rossi le fanno sorridere il cuore.
It's both. It's a new chapter and a change of course, but not really. It's something I've wanted to do for a very long time. As an artist, I'm always looking for the next thing that will stretch me, that will make me more open, that will make me find a new level, a new thing that makes me grow as an artist. And I think that's what art is about. You keep reaching for the things that are exciting to you. I'm always wanting to be be better, try new things, go to more places, and to me this is just another little diversion, is what I would call this. This is a diversion, but you smartly know that it's always been in there because you hear it, and you've always heard the jazz in me. This is the first time I've ever gone absolutely to a completely jazz album, but I am, in my heart, you know I'm jazz. I have always thought, if you have a dream, if you have something you need to say musically, in any art form for that matter, ask any painter, ask any, you owe it to this short life that we all have to get it out there, to do it. We have this much time. If you want to do it, if you feel something, if you know something, if you have it in you, do it. Do it. Do it.
I didn't like